Hey everybody, it's Friday the 4th of July. And what does the market have in store for us? That's the trillion-dollar question, or should we say multi-trillion-dollar question. Thank you all for coming, everybody. Hello, Piper, and the whole team is here. I know it's Friday. It's a holiday. Not many people will show up, but I do every day. So let's get into the story. The question is it going to be the 4th or the force or a fortune? Lots of weird stuff happening. And this is where we touch on all controversial topics of the day. And I do enjoy Friday Fire. And this is not financial advice. Thank you to everybody on Patreon as well. First of all, happy 4th of July. Made an American truck with a black wrap and some flags. So for the Americans here and the veterans, happy 4th, everybody. Now, a lot of people are freaking out right now because there are some billionaire wallets waking up on the move. I think they've been dormant for about 12 years, and they all activated within 2 hours. And this was a lot of Bitcoin. The question is it one person or many people or people selling right now? Who knows? But there are theories. Shout out to Vivek as well, that some believe it's all the same person. Pretty much looks like it, because they all activated at the same time and they are all about the same age. And it's about 80,000 Bitcoin worth about $8.8 billion. Sorry, not 12 years, 14 years. And many people believe it's Roger Ver as well. We'll see. Gambling Brew, thank you. And Farrer, hello, don't drink too much. So that is interesting. But again, this stuff happens all the time. There's lots of very old wallets. Sometimes people get nervous when they activate, they think it's the end of Bitcoin. No, it's not. Not at all. Bitcoin price, as we speak, is a little bit weak. It's 107,600 as we speak. It did hit 109,800 earlier today. And that's just what it does, especially quiet days like Friday. And a lot are on holiday. So let's talk about some other great news too. Long-term holder supply hit a new record. It hit a record last week and hit another new one now. 14.7 million Bitcoin is now in long-term holder supply. I do believe a lot of this will grow over time because, 5 million Bitcoin are lost. More is being socked away by players like MicroStrategy, a lot of other Bitcoin treasury companies. Many do not have any intention to sell. And of course, the ETFs as well, all sucking up a huge amount. In fact, I calculate the combination of MicroStrategy and BlackRock have sucked in nearly 7 years of supply, just 2 players. Pretty astounding. And a little bit of bad news, though. You can see here, shout out to James Check from Check on Chain. There is a little bit of hedging to the downside. Now, this typically happens when people make some gains and they want to lock those in. And it's like some people consider it insurance. Okay. People buy fire insurance when maybe it's very dry or the probability is high or there hasn't been a fire in a long time, etc. And human also often favors recency bias. And the best time to buy insurance is when everything is cool and calm as the premiums are the lowest. And ironically, when lots of investors are hedged for the downside, it usually means the path of least resistance is to the upside. And we've seen that a lot with short Bitcoin funds as well. They've always been wrong. But hedge funds need to protect themselves. If they make 10%, if they beat the S&P 500, they're happy and they want to lock in those gains. So don't freak too much out about this too. Also, shout out to Bo Hines. This is a very bullish little take from him from Bitcoin Magazine. And this is the US President's Executive Director for Crypto. And he believes that after the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin legislation, goes and becomes law, the crypto market cap could go to 15 to 20 trillion. That's pretty bonkers. Remember, the crypto market cap is about 3 trillion right now. So that's a 5 to 7x after the Genius Act goes into play. This is extremely bullish. And there's also some crazy things happening with stablecoins too. Hey, Sean D, thank you for coming. That we'll get into in a minute. But this was the big news of the week as well. In case you missed it, Rick Edelman, one of the top financial advisor guys in TradFi, basically said, if you have an aggressive portfolio structure, you need to be 40% in Bitcoin and crypto. And this took a lot of people by surprise. Typically, BlackRock recommends 2% allocation to Bitcoin in their portfolio. But for this guy to come out and say 40% for an aggressive portfolio, 20% for a medium portfolio, and 10% for a very conservative portfolio is huge. This will take the world by storm. Gareth Hayes, up there in Canada, thank you as well. Happy 4th. I know you guys have a different Independent Day. I can't remember the date of that. But anyway, hope you enjoy it too. But that is bonkers news. If people were to follow, say, even middle of the road here, 20%, 25% allocations from pensions and crypto funds, Bitcoin will go to the moon. No ifs, ands, or buts. The question is, who else will follow this recommendation? And shout out to Marty Party, DCA member. He believes per his Wyckoff accumulation, Feb 3rd, he believes global liquidity will take us to 165K, which is true. Proved that myself. And he says a bullish flag on TA from Wyckoff is calling for $146,900. Either way, per his charts, things are looking pretty positive. But he's not the only one as well. Everybody's been talking M2 for months now, but the correlation is pretty clear. If things hold, but Cointelegraph reports Bitcoin could hit 170K as global M2 supply reaches a record 55.48 trillion. It's bonkers to think the amount of money floating around is nearly 30 times the market cap of Bitcoin. All it takes is a tiny sliver to be allocated to Bitcoin, and boom, we'll see. And we also know that all fiat is going to zero. US dollar had its worst first 6 months since 1973. That was 2 years after the dollar left the gold standard. So you can imagine what a world of hurt the US dollar is in right now. And people want to hedge. We saw a lot of stuff yesterday about people like Ray Dalio losing his mind about the big, beautiful bill. Anyhow, moving on. Mark Moss as well. He put together a beautiful chart. And I've, back in 2024, I talked about how Michael Saylor could reinvent the bond market. In fact, nearly kill it. Well, Mark Moss put together the most beautiful image. I couldn't have done better myself on how Bitcoin preferreds are eating things alive. Basically, you have bonds that are backed with Bitcoin, preferred stock that pays a much higher dividend than treasuries, and everybody wants a piece because it's backed by hardness, not magical government printed money. And is piercing multiple holes. These are the three preferreds from MicroStrategy, and more to come as well from when other players copy them. But basically, Bitcoin is going after the $300 trillion bond market, which is in a shambles. Because going back to, what was it, slide number 10, I think. Okay, this is the other part of this is 40% of the portfolio. Basically, what they're doing here is replacing the bond aspect of it with Bitcoin. If that's the case, okay, the world is in for a very dramatic change. And, well, there we are. It's like a sinking ship with the holes in it. And the bond market will bleed into Bitcoin preferreds. No ifs, ands, or buts. So shout out to Mark Moss too. And day 2 of Solana real world assets destroys the competition. Shout out to Blockworks, and they look at the equities that are tokenized on chain. It's Solana. That's it. And if you look at the day 1 versus day 2 is 5x as high. Imagine what this is going to look like by the end of the year or in 2026. Things are really going to kick off. It's going to be an exciting place to watch. And we had the launch of the Sol ETF on Wednesday. Yesterday was a half day for the markets. But despite that, this is crazy from Eric Balchunas. He was going kind of a little bit bonkers. The SSK was in the top 10 of 900 ETF launches in volume recorded. 33 million volume on day 1 is crazy to him. And to be in the top 10 of 900 launches this year is crazy. And Eric Balchunas is a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. Very big. And again, still very early. It's a quiet week. It's a holiday week. People aren't trading a lot at all. And speaking of stablecoins and Solana, Circle minted $5.5 billion in 12 weeks on Solana. That is a monstrous amount of cash. And they will continue to do probably another 7 or 8 billion in Q3, and then maybe 10 billion in Q4. And at the same time, Tether is also printing. And this ties into the other thing, I think was slide 9. Again, how the market cap will grow from Bo Hines, 15 to 20 trillion. Okay. Stablecoins are the fuel that fuels crypto. As the stable coins grow, crypto market cap grows, everything grows. This is the connective tissue I want you all to be very aware of. And it's exciting just to sit back and watch. By the way, shout out to people. We lost we lost Randy Kirk this week. He sold his Tesla thinking the news was bad. He sold the bottom and bought back in about 10 or 20 bucks higher again afterwards. But everybody, sometimes, stay strong in the head. Don't lose your minds to the markets. They're designed to wreck your head. Stay stronger. Go out and walk, clear your head, and then come back and play. So let's go. Where were we? Oh, also, in more disruption news too, is another cool little illustration of how blockchain is changing the world, not just stable coins and how stable coins can actually help different currencies. But if you look at traditional card transactions like Visa and MasterCard, they did 400 billion transactions in 2024. And guess how much they charged for those transactions? $64 billion. That's about at least 16 cents a transaction. Now, and a lot of fees, a lot of times like 2.5%, 3% of the actual amount as well. But Solana blockchain with stable coins and payments can reduce the fees to 0.001 per transaction, cutting the cost by over 99% to maybe 400 million instead of 64 billion. So the question is, what is the $64 billion question? The answer is everything. Everything will move to the blockchain because it's better, cheaper, faster. Thank you, Piper. Appreciate you. And fun, I like to go back in history and share a slide. Exactly, 4th of July last year, I called it Financial Independence Day. It was a live Q&A. I shared these targets, and I remember the disdain. I said Tesla, I believe, would outperform Bitcoin through the year 2032. Okay. At the time, Bitcoin, exactly a year ago today, was $66,700. Tesla was $177. And I believe the multiples, and by the way, you can take the Bitcoin projections here, the excessive one of nearly $1 million in 2032. You can throw that away if there is a Bitcoin strategic reserve and if other nations follow suit. Boom. Or if people allocate 40% to Bitcoin, that's it. We're going straight to the moon. But I don't know if those things are going to happen. But what's interesting is if we look forward to today, what happened to these prices? Well, Bitcoin is 66.7 a year ago. Tesla's 177. Well, now Bitcoin's 108K. In fact, it's a little bit lower as we speak. It's 107,654 exactly. And Tesla's 318. So Tesla went up 79.66% in the last year. And Bitcoin went up 61.91%. Remember, buying bottoms, that wasn't even the crazy bottom we had 2 years ago at 106. But again, nice to have that perspective. And speaking of Tesla, Farzad tweeted something about the only way out after the big, beautiful bill is passed is to grow GDP. Some people believe the bill could grow GDP. Others believe the only way to grow GDP is AI and robotics. I believe that. I'm in that camp. And so is Elon Musk. And I've been modeling some stuff as well on this. How much, for example, would 1 million robots impact GDP? How much would 10 million robots impact GDP? And per Cern Basher, if they can make 2 million cars, they can easily make 10 million robots. And these robots will get smarter every single day and get more dexterous with their hands. Now, speaking of problems in the macro, a lot of talk about jobs. 2025 hiring so far only happened in 2 places. So if you don't work in healthcare or government, you're probably not seeing a lot of job action. Everything else is pretty much flat. Everything is healthcare because of the aging population. And then government jobs are coming back because Doge has been kind of, put on hold, killed. Whatever when you say. And speaking of robots and AI, this was a little bit of a sequence, but Intelligence Unmatched is here. The new Grok is launching today. And apparently it's incredible. I will hopefully get a chance to check it out yet later as well. And speaking of Tesla and Grok and XAI and SpaceX, this was another cool little chart that we saw during the week. And that is the rules of SpaceX. Make requirements less dumb. Delete the part or process step. As Elon always says, the best part is no part. Optimize, accelerate. Accelerate is also the term that the team at Solana use, coincidentally, and automate everything. But you can take these exact principles and apply them to your own life and get more effective and efficient and make more fun as well as we go. So this is, again, out of sequence. Apologies. It's Friday. It's a busy day, holiday, etc. But where does the truth lie regarding jobs data? I did show a jobs chart a second ago, and there is job creation. But when you look at the government statistics, the BS, they say jobs are strong. But if you look at the ADP report that actually processes payroll, they say it's disastrous. The question is, who do you trust? You trust the government data or the industry that actually processes the actual payroll? Does the truth lie somewhere in between, or is ADP right? I think ADP is right. But anyway, finishing with a meme du jour, a funny note. I had so many memes I wanted to share today. I nearly wanted to do 2 or 3 of them. Anyway, this is a cool thing. Thank you, Andy. A new study reveals that people who make good decisions have an unfair advantage. I mean, the media and things that are published nowadays are so, I don't know, either they're obvious or stupid or stupidly obvious. I don't know how to describe this. But anyway, make good decisions. Okay? You will do better if you make good decisions. And in fact, going back to this one, this helps you make good decisions by making requirements less dumb in life, which means don't do stupid stuff and don't waste time doing stupid stuff too. And delete stupid stuff from your life. Also, stupid people, if you can. Thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. Happy Friday. Happy 4th to everybody out there. Take care of yourselves and grill and have a drink and go for a walk in the park and enjoy the beach. Thank you all. Thank you, Sean D. Appreciate you and LAX guy and everybody else.